Alright, so welcome back to our new launch project review series, and today we're bringing you to Parc Komo, and of course this is being filmed right now in our PLB studio. Once, or level 2, you actually have height advantage. Based on your current property portfolio, what is the level of risk? You all know, if you have seen some of our so-called content on Instagram and Facebook, we have just shifted office. So instead of previous one at Oxley Biz Hub where we had our studio and we talked a little bit about some of the new launches on a sit-down fashion, this time around I want to bring you onto these 3 different screens, so there's a little bit more flexibility for us to share more content with you, and we hope that you enjoy this new series that we have right now for the new launches review. So let's go. This is Parc Komo. We also have a part 2 that is coming up where we bring you directly into the show flat itself. Now, right now the show flat has the 3-bedder and the 5-bedder show flat model, as well as the entire very huge side model that you can see. Right now in episode 1, I want to share with you some stuff in detail, which is mainly pertaining to the location, stack analysis, as well as some of our thoughts on the pricing, comparative analysis of Parc Komo, and whether is this something that might be suitable for your family or for your investment. Usually what we want to do, as per what we have done for Forett, we want to look at the location first, as well as some of the configuration right here. We also have done an in-depth analysis on the current balance units available, plus the pricing differences of different stacks. And later on, we'll also come back to the map to look at what are some of the key things that you would need to understand when you buy a new launch. In the middle, wide array of resale options available. So right now for our start, let's have a look at this entire zoning first. Parc Komo is located along Upper Changi Road North. Of course, when you hear about Upper Changi Road North, you immediately realize that this is a cluster that is very near to the Flora Enclave. And Flora Enclave has currently quite a wide array of resale options available. The history about Flora is that this used to be a lot of land plots that are being owned by Hong Leong. Most of the developments, they are being developed by Hong Leong, and of course, some projects has different combinations. Some are tripartite kind of developments where Hong Leong partner with other developers to develop. So this entire plot is very known as the Loyang Estate or Flora Estate. Basically low-rise apartments because it's very near to the airport, Changi Airport. In terms of plot density ratio and height restriction, usually for Tampines, Pasir Ris, you'll notice that the buildings are a little bit shorter in nature, even for the public housing and some of the private properties right there. Over here, the moment you drive into Flora, you get to see different kinds of projects, but the very interesting features is that the projects that were developed in the early days, they are predominantly freehold developments. It is also being named according to different flower names. So if you have seen one of the penthouse that we're currently selling at the Gale, and the Gale is actually located right here. So we're selling a 4-bedder penthouse, and this is actually the last freehold that was launched in previous years. After the Gale, all the projects that were being launched right in the Flora Loyang Enclave, they are all 99 years in nature. So before the Gale, some of the very first ones were starting from the alphabet A, which are Azalea Park and Avila Gardens, and they're all either freehold or 999 years in nature. Of course, in Singapore, 999 is as good as freehold because it's such a long runway to go. Avila and Azalea Park, you have Balota Park, which is over here, and you have Carissa Park, you have Dahlia Park, you have Estila Garden, Edelweiss Park Condo, you also have Ferrera Park. After Ferrera, the very last freehold to launch is the Gale. So right after the Gale, there are very beautiful 99 years launches that came out along the way, and that of course includes Palm House. We have just sold one of the cluster house right there. So it's a beautiful 2.5-story cluster house kind of concept right there with your own private parking lot. If you've not seen the video, you can hit back, but that is already sold. Palm House, and then you have Park Olympia, you have Hedges Park, the Inflora, and the latest one will be Jovel, which is stipulated to be completed soon in 2021. Interestingly, after all these 99s are being launched, Parc Komo is one of the sudden rare freehold to be launched right over here, primarily because of the fact that this is an en-bloc development. That means this was being en-bloc from an older project previously. This plot is also part of the Mariam Flora kind of cluster. In fact, if you drive down all the way from the exit of TPE and then you head leftwards towards Upper Changi Road North, you will first bypass Hedges Park, Edelweiss, Balota, and then once you bypass the Esso petrol kiosk, which is a rather huge one right opposite from the Changi cluster, then you'll head towards Parc Komo. So of course some of you might be saying, hey, this is like right opposite Changi prison. Would there be an impact on this area, or what should be some of the things that I should take note of? I think in Singapore, because our land is so scarce, and of course last time Bishan used to be entire cemetery plot of land. There are also a lot of different cemetery plot of land. Woodley used to be a cemetery plot of land, but the HDBs right there are all like $1 million HDB properties. I mean, even the BTOs at Woodley is already $600,000 to $700,000 range. I think because of land scarce Singapore, and of course our population is increasing, economy, government is strong. I think the key difference to look out for is not whether are you near to the prison, are you near to the cemetery, but it's rather more of other different factors that contributed to the price positioning of the particular development. Now, because every project, even though all these clusters, they are being quite close to the Changi Prison Complex. If you were to drive past Changi Prison Complex, right now this clusters A and B, they're adopting the modernized prison facility. Adrian and myself, we used to be prison officers 14 years back. I think it's really about contribution of different factors that form this current cluster. Now, apart from the fact that Parc Komo is one of the very rare freeholds that pop out in terms of launches right now, this entire cluster is also right across this diagonal cluster along the Upper Changi East Road. This is of course now being anchored with the new Upper Changi downtown line, the new MRT station. So over here you have a little bit of the Simei portion because you have Melville Park, Changi Rise, Savannah, which are all 99 years. Sunhaven is a freehold, which we have just sold a 2-bedder. You also have Cascadia, Changi Green, Changi Court, which are all freeholds. So it's actually just right across this entire enclave of the Simei estate together with the Expo estate. If you move upwards, you will get to see that actually the entire Flora estate is also right opposite towards Tampines, is also right across the entire Pasir Ris estate. So this portion here, I would say, is a very interesting cluster because there are no HDB properties right here. There are no public housing here. It's either apartment status, condominium status. Now, of course, they are being flushed with this very interesting triangular cluster made up of 99 years landed properties. And alongside, you have the entire Toh Crescent, Toh Height, Toh Close estate, which are all freehold 999 landed properties. You also have the freehold 999 landed properties along Mariam area. So this entire portion, I would say, is a private estate, mainly made up of private apartments, condos, landed properties. Coming back here, Parc Komo stipulated to be completed on paper is June 2023. Of course, sometimes when it speeds up. Right now, I just drove past there. I think they are building up to about 2 to 3 levels. Averagely, in terms of the launch price, is all anchored at about $1,004 plus to about $1,500 per square foot, depending on the size, type of configuration that you have, type of configuration of the properties that you're going for. 276 units. Interestingly, it's a mixed development. There are 28 shops because the older project, there are also shops located on level 1. So the project is going to be made up in a fashion whereby the 28 shops will have shop frontage facing towards the Upper Changi Road North. Of course, some shops will be on level 2, some shops will be facing internally. But the interesting thing is that the units that's fronting towards the front, they are all starting at level 3. So we'll cover that in more detail during the show flat visit. Allocation is something that we want to pay a little bit of attention to. So over here we can see that the predominant percentage falls into the 2-bedders and the 3-bedders. So 3-bedders has about close to about 29%, and then 2-bedders, you have a pretty huge weightage, close to about 37%, and the rest goes to the 1-bed, 1 plus study, 4-bed and 5-bedder. The interesting fact is also that the 1-bedders are all sold out during the launch phase. This is the sold chart right here. So if you were to follow me to this third screen here, we have actually marked out for you which are the stacks that has been fully sold. Some of the stacks that are probably about 90% sold already because every stack has only 5 units. Some of the stacks that are facing towards the Upper Changi Road North, like these 3 blocks here, with the shops at level 1 and 2, they start from level 3. So you don't have much choices, you only have level 3, 4 and 5. And the rest of the stacks that are internal facing, they have level 1 all the way to level 5. So the height limit here is 5 levels, low-rise development, not too dense, 276 unit, D17 zone, the plot ratio is about 1.4. We love the fact that there's basement car park. We also love the fact that the car parks to the shops are separated from the residential car park. So shop car parks, you still have 24 lots plus a couple of handicap lots. The residential car parks, you have 1-to-1. The demarcated sold stacks are predominantly the one-beders that has been sold. Now the Quantum, I think, is one of the main attraction points because they were launched at about $600,000 to about $700,000 over $1,000. So very nice Quantum for one-bedder freehold, which attracted a lot of people to buy either for own stay or for investment. So to own a freehold property right here, $680,000, $690,000, or even $700,000, pretty attractive for one bedder. Key rationale, I think, because of the fact that some of the 99 years development right here, they are also doing at about $600,000 over $1,000 range. So to buy something freehold that is comparable or not too far off from the 99 years resale here, I think that's one of the main draw that move the units pretty quickly. The rest of the colored ones, other than the red color stacks, these are the units that are still available. Now, if you want to get your hand on this site plan, you can PM us on the link below, or you can head straight to our editorial, click on the link, ask for a consultation session, and PropertyLimBrothers team will be in touch to share with you a little bit more about how to analyze projects and how to decide on which projects to go among all the wide array of new launches available right now. Okay, so let's have a look at the site plan. A bit of orientation on where is north and south. So north is towards this diagonal direction and south is towards this direction, which means that west will come in from this angle right here. Predominantly, most of the units right here, they will face either towards Jalan Mariam, which is the part of the landed property. They will also face towards the back portion, which is the landed property zoning as well. Take note, there's a petrol kiosk, which is the Esso petrol kiosk right here at this corner. And also the units that's fronting toward Upper Changi Road North, definitely you will get a little bit of traffic noise, but this road is not too heavy. And furthermore, the units actually starts from level 3, so you don't get level 1 and 2 kind of units fronting towards the road. So level 1 and 2 will all be the commercial shops. Commercial shops are also served by an up and down escalator. And of course, some key things to note when we bring it to the site model is we want to locate where is the bin center. We also want to know where is the substation, genset, and that will actually be covered in episode 2 to show you the exact site model. As we look at the site plan here, we notice that the smaller units are mainly located at block 963, 961, and 979. Colored ones are mainly the 2-bedders that's balanced. So in terms of the price point, what I mean, some of the balanced units are mainly the 2-bedders, and they start from a range of about $1 million kind of range. It's differentiated according to the type of 2-bedders because it will either be the 2-bed compact, 2-bed premium, or the 2-bed deluxe kind of model. You also have the 3-bedders. They are mainly starting from about $1.4 million all the way to about $1.6 million. So there are some premium units located on the ground floor because for ground floor you get extra ceiling height that of course you can build in that furniture deck. And of course for that, the ground floor units are actually slightly more expensive. So for example, for this 3-bedder located at Stack 36, the range of the units on level 2, 3, 4, 5 is in the range of about $1.51 to $1.53 million, but the ground floor is going at about $1.72 million range. Ground floors, of course, with the extra premium in the ceiling height, you get a lot more flexibility on what you want to do with the extra loft space. So for high ceiling lovers, perhaps you want to consider some of the ground floor units as well. The yellow color ones, together with the light green ones, those are all the 3-bedders. So notice also that the premium units are the ones that are facing internally to the main pool. There's also a 50 meters lap pool here, but I think if you want a little bit more separation, you want to really see the different facilities that are of a more interesting kind of variations, then the units over here that's fronting towards this entire main facility zone, that's going to be pretty interesting. But of course, that's also where the kids pool are being located at. There's an interesting aqua slide located at number 30. So I think your kids are going to love the aqua slide. But of course, over the weekends, you might have a little bit more activity. The developers has also planted the 5 bathers to be really facing the main internal pool. Notice that stack 56, 57, 31, 32, these are all the 5 bather apartments, and they're all looking internally, not facing towards the road, not facing external, really inward looking. The main theme of Parc Komo is really the resort feel. If you look at the site model, it's really interesting the amount of facilities that they pump in, although there are only 276 units. So you have almost everything. The only thing that you don't have is that there is no allocated tennis court in this project. The 4 bathers are the orange colors. So 4 bathers are also facing towards the pool, which is basically stack 42 and stack 49. So the turquoise color ones are actually the 2-bedroom models, which is about $1 million, about $1.1 million. And then the blue ones are the lower quantum 2 bathers, the compact model, 657 square feet at about $1 million range. Alright, so coming back to here, you can click on this link right here that's popping out in this video now. That will then bring you to our PropertyLimBrothers editorial. So our editorial team has also covered more in-depth features on the location, some of the background of the developer, which is CEL. You will get to see more in-depth photographs as well of the project. One interesting fact is that the Komo Shoppes, the 28 commercial shops, they are not for sale. Mixed development, one thing you have to ask when you visit a project is that you want to know whether are the shops being sold to the public as individual strata shops, or is the developer planning to actually set up a team, set up a MCST in order to get in anchor tenants to do the tenant allocation, mall management themselves. So you want to know, is the mall management being done by the developer, or are the shops going to be sold as individual strata shops? The key rationale is because in the mixed development, if the shops are going to be individually sold to private investors or private buyers like you and me, and we can get to buy the shops, what's going to happen is that at TOP, the psychology that goes behind individual strata shops that are being sold to private investors like you and me versus the mall retaining all the shops for themselves and renting it out, there is a huge difference in psychologies. If it's going to be sold individually, what's going to happen is that everybody will have every man for themselves kind of mindset. Which means that when I collect my keys, let's say I bought a shop here at a mixed development, the very first thing is that I would then appoint maybe different agents and I will say, hey, try to get me a tenant as fast as possible because my installment has kicked in, I want to rent it out, collect rental income. So what's going to happen is that the every man for themselves kind of mindset will kick in, and let's say there are 30 shops, 30 owners would then be on a hunt for tenants. And this will then be a reaction to the market whereby of course the tenants will come in and rent, but there's no planning as in how many types of tenants will I want to allow in this mall. What if there are like 10 tenants that are doing the same business, and there's no planning in terms of what type of tenant, what type of F&B tenants do we want. So there's no one central management that's planning the entire project. Compared to Parc Komo, I think they recognize that, and what they're going to do is that they're going to manage the mall and they're going to decide on the trade mix, they're going to plan it. So of course the pros and cons is that you don't get to invest in commercial shops, and this is going to be freehold for Parc Komo. But what you do get is that when you buy the residential units right here, you are going to enjoy probably a better managed mall of these 28 different shops. So something that you can take note of, we love the fact that the car park is separated, so you're not going to have visitors that is going to be parking at your residential car park. The visitors, the shop tenants are also not allowed to use the facilities in Parc Komo as well. There's also going to be smart home features. So for example, you're going to have like digital locks, which is pretty common nowadays. And they have also pumped in the smart home hub, which allows you to turn on your air conditioning and lights before you reach home. You can also turn it off while you're outside. And they're also going to throw in a smart parcel station. So when you order stuff from online stores, they can deposit the parcels right at the smart parcel station for you to collect when you head home. There's also going to be a bicycle maintenance hub to maintain your bike. We cover them more in depth in the editorial, so do head over and read the editorial. Alright, so what we're going to look at right now are some of the floor plans. So let's start with the 2-bed classic layout. So when you look at the 2-bed classic, they call it the 2C kind of layout model. So if you get a hands on the brochure, you get to see this dumbbell fashion layout, which is pretty common nowadays, especially if it's a compact or 2-bed classic model per se. They usually now only have one bathroom. This is at 657 square feet. It starts from about 984,000 to $1 million. You also have the 2D kind of layout, which is the 2-bedroom deluxe layout. Pretty easy to differentiate. So this will be the conventional layout where you have that walkway towards the 2 bedrooms, and it's made out of 2 bed, 2 bath. Price range, it will start from about $1.1 million for the extra square footage space. The size is all ranging about 700 to 775 square feet. If we head on to the 3-bed compact model, the key difference is that 3-bed compact model, there's no WC, there's no utility room inside the unit. You do get a proper enclosed kitchen. We quite like the fact that the kitchen-wise, there is a proper window overlooking towards the AC ledge. Price range-wise, you will start from about $1.4 million. If you look at the 3-bed deluxe model, the key difference, of course, is that you have the extra utility room. You do get an extra WC right inside the enclosed kitchen. You can also, of course, remove the WC inside this additional toilet at the back, use this as a laundry room. But likely, I think in terms of laundry needs, definitely it has to be a washer-dryer system because we don't get to see a proper yard that can allow you to have natural clothes drying inside the yard area. Nowadays, you're all allowed to install balcony screens because invisible grills is very common as well if you have young kids at home. Price range will start at about $1.5 million for the 3-bed deluxe layout. So you got to decide whether do you want to have that utility room, do you want to have that additional WC in the kitchen for additional probably at about $100,000. 4-bed compact, which is about 1.98, you can run off to about $2 million all the way to about $2.1 million for the 4-bedders. You have nice enclosed kitchen, super huge utility room with a WC inside the utility room, which is perhaps might be a little bit more functional. You do get 4 proper bedrooms, living dining seems pretty huge, balcony with that wider kind of dimension for your living area. And of course, you also have that gigantic 5-bedder, which we will show you more in depth when we head over to the show flat at episode 2. Yeah, so we want to come back here to talk about some of the existing prices that are being done right now in some of the surrounding projects. So, of course, over here, I would say that it's more of a quantum play. If you're going for resale, usually for the existing projects, if you want to land yourself a 3-bedder, you can land yourself a 3-bedder with a range budget of about $1.1 to $1.2 million. So the interesting thing is that the 99 years development, they are doing at a higher per square foot compared to the freehold resale right here in the entire Flora estate. Just bearing the fact that because when projects are being launched during government land sales, the price point based on the land bid price, construction price and launch price, definitely when these are all factored in, plus the first owners get to purchase this directly from the developers during the launch. When they wait 3 years for TOP, naturally all the owners that have bought the brand new development, they want to sell at a slightly higher premium. Some of the key rationales that people love to buy new launches is because of the progressive staggered payments, and of course you get that brand new property, brand new architecture, brand new design, brand new resort theme. Nobody has lived in the house before. There's also 1 year's defect warranty that's being pumped in after you collect your keys from TOP date. I think whether it's a new launch or resale, I leave it up to you. In terms of what do you really need. Can you do that wait? Can you rent for 2-3 years and wait for the project to finish? Or are you currently living with your parents? Or are you having an alternative accommodation right now and you don't need to move right now? You can wait for the TOP to be done. But I think importantly is that right now, if you look across all available freehold new launches in the entire market, Parc Komo is definitely one of the lowest in terms of the PSF right now at about 1,004 plus 1,005 per square foot. Location-wise, you must be a natural east lover. You're used to Pasir Ris, Tampines, Loyang. You love to live in the east side. You want to be near to Jewel Changi Airport for shopping. You want to have easy access to ECP, TPE, and this must be a place that you naturally want to have. And of course, SUTD right now is of course one of the anchor along the Expo region as well. So I think in terms of price point, if you look at a per square foot factor, 1,004 plus freehold on the entire landscape, it would then seem pretty viable, because if I were to compare 1,004 plus to the rest of the 99 years launches in the entire Singapore bandwidth right now, The 99ers, a lot of them are already doing in the OCR zone at about $1,400, $1,500 per square foot. Of course, you have the other project Treasures at Tampines. That's doing at about $1,200, $1,300 per square foot for 99ers in Tampines. But if you look at other freeholds launches out there, I think if you compare freehold to freehold, 1,004 plus as an M3 will seem pretty attractive if you're going for that per square foot kind of angle. More of the in-depth analysis is actually available inside the editorial as well. So do click on the link down below. We will key in some of our preferred stacks right there inside the editorial for you to have a look so that you have that sense on what kind of stacks should you select if you are going for the 2-bed, 3-bed or 4-bedders. So once again, my name is Melvin Lim. It's good to have you with us first time round in our PLB studio on our new launch project review series. And we'll see you on the next one. And meantime, take care and happy 2021. Cheers.